in a world where we're all going to be working for a lot longer in our careers, hopefully. And our experience, in my case, 35 years ago is not necessarily 100% relevant for the work I'm doing today. Do you do partnerships with academic institutions? Are they part of this at all?
Yeah, we do. I think, I mean, to your question, and this is not necessarily PwC's point of view, but I think the point that kind of like when you buy a new car, the minute you drive it off the lot, it's depreciating. I think yes. When anyone exits a 4-year program today, probably what they learned isn't entirely worth the student debt they went into to get it. So I think people are learning from all different sources today, and the demand for learning, you know, people don't seem to have as much brand association with. If I can learn something from an online boot camp or a TED Talk or whatever it is, you know, people don't feel the need to say, oh, this came from a top 10 university anymore. So I think academic institutions are starting to wake up to that there's, you know, only so much they can do without truly changing. And because people do need to be lifelong learners, you know, not everyone feels the need to have to pay for that learning because there's so much access to things that are very affordable. So I think it will be interesting to see how it evolves. I think the other thing too is, you know, a lot of what you learn in traditionally in universities is much more knowledge-based and much less skills-based. So to the extent they can continue to expand their opportunities they provide to students to get real job experience, you know, applying things that they're learning rather than just sitting in a classroom, I think that's going to be really, really helpful. I think the virus we're all experiencing right now is shifting a lot of academic institutions to virtual learning modalities. And I think that's going to be a moment in time where people realize maybe I don't have to pay X hundred thousands of dollars to send my child to, you know, 4 states away to get this experience. So I think it'll be an interesting thing to see.
Yeah, just for context for people there, we're recording this kind of right in the middle of the sort of coronavirus outbreak, and we're a few weeks in, and it seems to be having profound impacts and moving a lot of people, a lot of activities online, for sure.
Yeah. So I think hopefully that's some upside from this pretty scary event.
Yeah, hopefully more time with family and loved ones, and more in online learning, and more work-life balance.
Yeah, there's a business idea in there somewhere, I'm sure.
I think you're right. What do you wish, Sarah, that you could do for your learners? Is there anything that's kind of just still a little bit out of reach that you wish you could do to sort of supercharge your efforts?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the Nirvana State, I'd love for there to be a very in the moment of need response learning system. I think a lot of people around the world are trying to focus on this, and, you know, as they have access to bigger and bigger data sets about people's skills gaps, performance, other data. You know, if you were, you know, working remotely, for example, and you got stuck on something, I mean, a traditional model has been, who can I email, or is there some shared document I can pull from, or do I just search this online? But if there was something that recognized you getting stuck and pushed you learning in the moment of need, I mean, I think that's truly the nirvana. I don't think we're anywhere close to that, although I do know many folks are working on it.
Yeah.
And I think people do have that, you know, as much as people want flexible and personal learning, they also still, what we're seeing at least, they still want some sort of, I wouldn't say a prescribed path of what to learn, but they like kind of this playlist concept of learners like you also did these 4 assets.
Yeah.
So kind of somewhere between personalized but guided, facilitated.
Yeah, maybe it's sort of like a broader set of tools that we can use. I'm also a big fan of cohorts, and it sounds like your Digital Accelerator program, that's a very much part of that too.
Yeah, we find such power in the community of they just teach each other, and they kind of collaborate and mutually up their game through teaching and learning from each other.
Got it. Sarah, last 2 questions for me.
Sure.
One question that I ask everybody who comes on the podcast, and that is, you know, helping people in the world of learning and development is kind of a little bit special. And I wondered why you chose to get involved in this work. Was there something or some person who inspired you on your journey?
Well, for me, yeah, I mean, my work, and just to clarify again, I don't work in the learning space directly, but my work is in human capital strategy broadly. And I mean, what inspired me on that is I've just been always interested in the rapid development of the technology industry and seeing the application of true user research to developing products. I kind of, have long thought about we should really be applying the same principles to the employee experience and treating our employees as people who are voluntary consumers of that. So, I mean, that's really what's inspired me is just, I think even in my own career, I've probably spent years, times doing things that I didn't particularly find that meaningful, even though I felt like I was doing a good job, because I just probably didn't step back and think of what else could I do differently. So I felt like that now that I was getting more senior in my career and I was getting more education and more rooted in those principles, I just have a real passion for impacting our employee experience or the employee experience of even other organizations to just have a much more consumerized mindset. So that's really what's inspired me, but it's not been one person as much as it's just been observing the success of a lot of consumer software.
Great. Sarah, where can people learn more about you and your work at PwC? Are there any resources you can point us to?
Yeah, I mean, connect with me on LinkedIn or follow me on Twitter. I share a lot of content there and comment on a lot of these trends regularly. So that's definitely the best place to catch me. You can also, if you're interested broader in PwC's efforts in this space, our effort globally we call New World, New Skills. If you simply search that online, you'll find plenty of content and videos and cool stuff to describe all of that too.
I love it. Sarah, thanks so much for your time today. I know we had a couple of shots because the internet's kind of creaking at the seams, I think, with everybody working from home. But I really appreciate the extra effort.
It's okay. The world kept spinning and we got it done.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much.
Great to talk to you, Chris. Thanks for your time.
Thanks as always for listening to this episode of Learning is the New Working. Please rate us on your favorite podcast platform, share us with your friends and community, or drop us a note at www.learningisthenewworking.org, where you can find a back catalogue of all our episodes and learn more and get resources from the amazing people that we've been lucky enough to feature across our 6 thematic seasons. Please, please, please stay well, stay home, but stay connected and always stay learning. Thanks.